When we cast for this film, there were a few people that really stood out, but among the few people that stood out, Lindsay and Brian were the two that just, when I saw Brian and he started reading, I almost started giggling just because I knew that this was, I had seen Brian before in a dance performance. He's an incredible dancer. And when I saw him act and the emotion that he generated, I knew that this was just a superstar waiting to be discovered.
He cast me for a dancing film that he was making. So when I got called for this audition through my agent, I thought that's what it was, and it was sort of a technicality that I was reading for this dance film. So when I went in, I thought I had already gotten the part. So I had no idea that this was for an actual feature film. So I had no pressure. I had all the confidence in the world that I was going to be reading with whoever, and it was going to be fine, and I was going to get the part because I already had it. And then I started reading with Lindsay and realized that this was a very different thing because Lindsay's not so much of a dancer, and I didn't know why there was a full-fledged actor in the room with me in a dance film.
Everything that Katie was, Lindsay portrayed. So when we did the callbacks, I prayed that they had any sort of chemistry at all, because they were the two that I wanted.
Guys, I read with Brian, who is fantastic. And when I heard we were cast, I was so excited. And then I found out it was 10 days overnight at a cabin in Wisconsin. And I was like, what?
The intimacy of our two main actors, they were able to bond both on and off camera. They were amazing. They went far beyond anything I had expected or hoped by reading a script and meeting them. I wasn't there for any of their auditions or any of that stuff. That was all Chars, and he did an amazing job of casting the people that we had. Even the third person that played in our movie, he did quite well himself. I think he cast it quite well.
The subtlety of Lindsay's acting is really, there are a few shots that that are absolutely brilliant. In one instance, the morning after the big night fight scene, and then she comes out of the tent and he asks her, he says that, you know, it's purification week for the souls, and you know, he's been trying to get her secret out and get her to talk to him for so long, and just the subtlety of the range of emotion that she goes through. Like, you know, she starts to close off again, and then as Brian's, oh no, I didn't mean that, you know, and it just slowly comes back where she, you know, comes back in touch with Wesley. It's just fantastic.
How'd you sleep last night?
Once I could stop worrying about you, I guess I slept pretty good. It's one of my best nights in a long time, actually.
Yeah, it's the late fall air, and there's none of that smog that our bodies are used to. It's like purification week for our bodies.
Wes, you promised.
Oh, I didn't mean it that way. My family came out here, we all just fish and nap and maybe sneak in a game of backgammon or cards. My dad used to say the body gets tired because of the overload of oxygen.
Brian, he's so raw. There's so many things that could have gone wrong with the person. This was his first feature-length movie, and but he naturally keeps. I think that this coincides with his dancing. He keeps the continuity of each scene. Where he's paddling, he makes sure that when he switches, it's to the same spot. So cutting this movie was a lot easier than it could have been, especially when taking into account that this is his first feature-length movie.
The movie is a very emotional movie with pauses and awkwardness and loveliness, and it was just a very great experience to be in the same room with someone that was so easy to work with.
I was pretty happy with the way Brian and Lindsay worked on camera. They were very camera-conscious actors, and they didn't do a lot of surprising things, so we were able to get good takes pretty much every shot.
Not only were they no drama at all, but we never, as crew members, ever had to think about them. which is just great. And hopefully they didn't have to think about us too much or what we had going on. It was just sort of this thing where everyone knew their role and everyone was good at it, so we just showed up and did it.
And Chars gave us the ability to change some of the things that he had in the script, some of the moments, some of the wording. We have to make a good argument for it, but he was able to listen to us and not get stuck in, these are my words and this is what I want. So it was very freeing to have something that he felt so passionate about, and then seeing how he could let that passion change with what we wanted to do.
And so welcoming of our ideas. Sometimes he'd use them and sometimes he wouldn't. But he wanted feedback because he wants the best thing for this movie. And I think across the board, everyone involved was out there because they wanted this to be a really good movie.
Really great having an actor who is a director, because he knows what shots he wants. He knows exactly how long he wants a shot to last. He knows what he wants to get from an actor standpoint, and then allowed us to just be actors.
What they brought to the table was a natural, sort of a natural feel that you don't normally get with other actors. I feel like a lot of films, especially dramas, really come across as forced and overworked and over portrayed, whereas they seem to really be natural. And from an editing standpoint, it makes your job easy.
All those things that melded into one production, one moment in time that was absolutely fantastic, and I love that I was a part of it.
I'm so proud of it. And I think I'm an all right actor, but I think that the editing just kind of made both Brian and I shine a little bit. So I think it'll be really exciting to see where this goes. And I hope people sit up when they see it on their screen.